This controversy about Gen Zs, it is not about Gen Zs, it is about the welfare of the people of Kenya at large. People just think Gen Zs are just young people who are useless or orderless, like we put it. But Gen Zs are focused, and I think it is the belief. Wajua tumesoma sana Mr. Hikimea, Damu Nyeusi, name them. We've read so many tamthilias. Those are resource, books that have given us a bit of an insight of what goes into governance, how our politicians behave, and how can we make changes that will see us leading a brighter future. So it is not wrong for us as Gen Zs championing for change and trying to change the status quo. We need not to be comfortable with what is happening. We always have to dare. We are very proficient, in the way you put it. Tunapenda umbea. We feed on umbea sana, and it denies us the opportunity to have a real-time experience with issues. I'm comfortable hating you because somebody hates you. So I'm not hating you because I have an issue with you, but because the guy hates you. So I'm hating you because somebody hates you. There are people who hate the president because other people are hating him, which is wrong. I normally say leaders are not hated, and leaders should know that people don't hate you, leaders. People just disagree with what you are doing. They don't really hate you. Hate is a different kind of a thing. People need to understand the difference between hating and disliking, just not agreeing with you to a certain level. So I believe, Mr. President, people don't hate you. People just don't probably like certain things that are happening within the country, and they also just want to see some change. They also are struggling in life. They also are just crying. They also are just feeling the heat, the pinch. They just want to see some change. Wewe saizi nimekuja kwa nyumba, mume wangu naomba nikuvulie viatu, naomba nikupe maji ya kunywa. So the modern wives cannot do that. They feel that is ukoloni kind of. So I think we also need to come up with a segment for us young people to talk about not even marriage alone, even my relationships zenye tuko nazo. Because tunaona young people are committing suicide because of relationships.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Life in Focus, only on Lifelines Network. My name is Miss Noni. I hope you're having a fantastic time wherever you're watching us from. Please remember to tell us where you're watching us from. And remember, today we have an amazing guest, a guest who has been at the forefront in fighting for our education, fighting for the policies of our country, of our county, Mombasa. And I know after listening to him, we're going to learn one or two things. But before we get to our guest, remember we are on all social media platforms, whether it's on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, everywhere. And we are Lifelines Network everywhere. Remember to follow us, subscribe to our YouTube channel to get all updates on all the guests that we have on our channel. Now to our guest. Karibu sana.
Shukran.
This is Life in Focus.
Thank you.
Here we bring guests who have powerful stories.
Wow.
Stories to inspire, stories to change the world, literally. And the fact that you're here, we know that you're going to change someone's life today.
Looking forward.
So before we get to changing lives, please introduce yourself.
Thank you so much. My name is Hassan Mbangwe Athumani. I come from Changamwe sub-county, a youth and a young person in Mombasa. Enthusiastic about education and also matters policy. So basically that is what I do at the moment. But I'm looking forward to doing so many things that will benefit our community at large. Thank you for having me. Yeah.
Thank you so much. There are two things that you stated
Yes.
when you were introducing yourself. You are a policy champion.
Sure.
And you are an educationist.
Yes.
If that is even a word.
Yes, sure it is.
So let's start with education. Please tell us about what you're doing in that field.
Yeah, it's good. You started by stating that you host young people who, give their powerful stories.
Yeah.
If we had time, I would probably walk you through my journey, but for the interest of time, as an educational activist, let me say, I know many people don't know that there exists educational activism, and I think this is something that many youths should explore. By many youths, I believe we are lacking information, and it's not deliberate, it's probably by design, if you may, but we believe we can change the course. As a young person looking at my educational journey and where I am today, it's basically because I decided to go to school, or my parents decided to take me to school.
And now going back to that,
Yes.
please give us a brief. I know we are talking about time.
Yes.
Trust me, have all the time in
Thank
the
you.
world
Thank
in Life
you.
in
Thank
Focus.
you.
So
Yes.
please tell us a bit of your journey that led to the man that you are now.
I've been to school, let me say so.
Okay.
Something I'm very passionate, proud about, having been to school, because I know there are many other kids who would love to go to school, but because of the circumstances they are going through. So it is always a privilege for you to find yourself in a school setup. And when you find yourself in a school setup, it is good for you to make use of that time, because others are, just looking at you and like looking at how privileged you are.
Yeah.
So if you don't make use of that opportunity, then even God will not be happy with you. I'm glad I have a bit of a background in education. Yeah, of course, I didn't go through the CBC. We went through the 844 system, and I think it made me ready to, pursue life as it is. I'll skip the bit of, primary education, secondary education. Of course, I made it to the university. In the university, I pursued English and linguistics and sociology. So I'm a linguist by profession. But currently, I hope to pursue my master's degree in strategic management and leadership. And it's also something I'm very passionate about. And yeah, it's something I really want to be, explore. And I just want to, be proud of having a master's degree. I want to, add value to my community with that master's degree. I believe in the near future I'll probably also, in one way or another, impact the social lives of the people of Mombasa. In whatever position that God will may provide, inshallah.
So in a few years you'll be Dr. Athman.
Inshallah. Thank you for of course, after my master's, I'm hoping to pursue my PhD. Very hopeful, of course, very hopeful. It's a motivation I get from friends. And it is very, very important for you to attach yourself to friends who will probably, inspire you to dream, to achieve more in life. It is always about how careful you are with the choice of your friends. So I think me being, with such friends, they have really inspired me into being who I am today. Back from when I was in campus, I remember when I got in my first year, I just schooled here at one university in Kilifi. I made friends who were third years, but I was a first year. But of course, it became an issue when I got to my second year, because the third and fourth years were already exiting the university, and now I was there trying to look for other friends. So, but for me, it was a deliberate choice, because I believed my experience is the best teacher. So I believed by attaching myself to my seniors, I would be able to learn more about the campus life, kill that kind of curiosity that young people have when they get into campus, especially from home. You didn't have that freedom to explore issues. When you get there, now you are free, you are very curious. You want to walk to all the directions you see in front of you, but then at the end of the day, there are always very grave consequences. So I'm glad I made friends who walked me through the right directions in my campus journey. I was a leader there. I was a leader there from the onset. In my first year, I was a bit of fumbling here and there, trying to, identify who I am as a young person. In my second year, I was lucky to get into an activism kind of club, just championing against drugs. You know what happens in campus, of course.
Yeah.
So I had that push to get into this club that was against drugs, as we used to call it. Luckily, in absentia, I got elected as an organizing secretary. I just got a call. I was home in Mombasa. Hey, we are having an election. Guys, I've been seeing you here. You know, they are picking you for this position. You are on loudspeaker. Will you accept or not? I said, why not? So that is how my journey started. From that, I got into the peer counseling club in Pwani, which is also doing so well for the students at Pwani University. I served as a coordinator for 2 years. At some point, I deferred a bit, but then came back. When I came back, it's like I never left. I took it up from there. I continued my leadership journey. I became the chairperson for the peer counseling club, and for the first time in that club, I served for 2 years as a chairperson. I also served as a coordinator for 2 years. As a coordinator, I served for 2 years. So that was not a mean fit for me. I also served in other groups, of course, as a leader in the Red Cross and many other groups within the campus setup. And I also explored a bit of politics. Yeah, when we got into the electoral college system, I vied as a delegate. Of course, I didn't win, but I never stopped.
Yeah.
In 2018, 2019, I also contested for a position against my brother Fikirini. Of course, he won, but I never gave up again. I continued inspiring, my peers, doing what I was doing at that time, and I maintained my focus. Luckily, it was lucky because unfortunately Fikirini and the team got expelled, and the university had the need to have a student leadership. So by virtue of what I had been doing within the school, I got an appointment by the Vice Chancellor to serve as the chairperson of the Student Union Council. So for me, that was also a big achievement, because I was picked not because I was popular. I was never even popular. I was a very shy young guy. But I was picked because of the kind of impact I was having in to my peers, the kind of, I believe in living a dignified life. So I think I took care of myself well, to get such kind of an appointment from the Vice Chancellor. I served the students for 1 academic year and then graduated and bid farewell to my alma mater. But of course, I also still serve in very many capacities as an alumni, still continuing with the same journey. Of course, now I'm back home in Changamwe, also trying to do a lot of things in the community, and Mombasa at large, in brief.
That is a very interesting story, and I think it also portrays where your passion for things to do with the community and making sure that the community is all right. Leadership too came from. So still sticking on matters education and your passion for it. When we were having a conversation before the camera started running, you told me about something that you're currently doing with education and schools and consultancy. Please tell me about that.
All the big words. But basically, I will talk about EduQuest consultancy. It is in my heart. It is something I'm really, compassionate about. I love, the concept that we came up with as EduQuest consultancy. Of course, every success story has a bit of challenges here and there. It hasn't been, an easy 6 months for us, because we started like 6 months ago. Getting through registration, bringing people on board, people you feel are like-minded, but then along the journey you find that they have different interests that do not match with your interests. And at that point, we say, when you see a red flag, you don't ignore it. You have to retract yourself from such kind of negative energy. because for you to go far, you have to have the right people by your side. So a friend of mine, she's I may mention her name. I also love her journey. She's actually pursuing her PhD currently at the Kenyatta University. She's an educationist, of course, also a teacher at one of the schools in Mombasa. I may not mention, but she's also from Changamwe. She also schooled at Pwani University. And you remember in my introduction, I said I used to make friends who were, you know, above me. So she was above me at Pwani University, and I think they gave me, because there were so many, they gave me the right guidance into being who I am today. So I think after school we continued with the friendship and the brotherhood and the sisterhood, and now we have come up with a consultancy in education, something we are both enthusiastic about, we are both passionate about, and people will see what EduQuest is about in the near future. And I want to welcome everyone to support us. We're just young people from Mombasa who have dared to, you know, dream. And there's no bigger dream that we cannot achieve in this world. So, yeah.
So before we go to EduQuest, there was the mother that gave birth to EduQuest.
Definitely.
Please introduce us to that mom.
The whole idea, you remember I talked about getting informed, you know, having knowledge. There was a quote long ago that if you need to hide something from an African, put it in the books. And I think, you know, our inspiration is also drawn from, I'm allowed to say, negative assertion. It is meant to belittle who we are as Africans. We know Africans, especially Ghanaians, have made very, very prolific, you know, renowned scholars in education, and not just education, even the historical world. We have so many of them from the West, let me say from the West, who have been excellent, you know, and inspiring in the field of history, education. We've read so many of them in our history books. So Africans are actually equal to the task, and you see we are now shaping the world in one way or another. So we came up with an organization, I would say. We were calling it Informed to Inform Africa, basically just to try and inculcate reading culture amongst our peers, and of course the young people at large. At that time we just had a group of fellow like-minded young people. Like I said, most of them were teachers, still teachers of course. Some of them work with the organizations within Mombasa and outside Mombasa. Some of them are teachers within Mombasa, of course, and outside Mombasa. Some are students. So we used to have conversations around contemporary issues within our society. Something that happens and we feel we need to put a word into it, we could converge in our WhatsApp groups and just talk about it maybe once in a week. And after that we used to also try to put it out on social media for people to also understand what it was we were talking about. As part of extending the conversation, we were also trying to partner with various schools. You know, one thing that touched me so much is there was a time in 2023 we got students from various schools, and we took them for an exposure kind of activity. Most of them were so happy. We took them into a library setup. They were very excited to interact with the books, to look at, you know, locally manufactured books authored from around Mombasa, relating with these authors by reading their books. Inspired so many of them. And it gave us the push. Even after stopping the programs, it gave us the push to come up with an educational consultancy now, because at that time we were establishing book clubs in schools. But of course, like I said, there's need to have goodwill from administrative level for such things to go on and go on and go on to even benefit the next generation. So we put a stop, kidogo, but we felt now we needed to do a more professional kind of an engagement with these schools administratively and even at the level of the students. So this is why we came up with the educational consultancy. It's called EduQuest, like it is. EduQuest is a very beautiful company. We yet to launch. We're launching next month. We have a website. You can check us out at eduquest.co.ke. You will see what we are about, what we want to do in Mombasa and beyond. And briefly, that is EduQuest for you. Thank you.
It has a very beautiful journey, like from the moment that it was conceived to now, the fact that you guys are seeing the fruits and actually you've actualized the dream that you had. That is an amazing job, and congratulations
Thank you so much.
to you.
Humbled.
Well, we're looking forward to see what more EduQuest will be doing for us.
Inshallah.
When we come back from this break that we're about to go to, we'll come back to now the policymaker. We're about to ask you the hard questions because we're here to learn, and as you said, it is good to be informed as youths.
Definitely.
So we're taking a short break, and when we come back, we're going to continue the conversation with the future Dr. Athman. Welcome back to Life in Focus. Hapo awali, we were talking to Athman here, and he told us a lot concerning education, introduced us to his new baby EduQuest consultancy, and we got to hear all about what he does. On his bio, apart from being an educationist, there's something else that is there, and that is the fact that he is a member of the Senate Oversight Committee. So in this chapter of the interview, we're going to be talking about exactly what he does in that committee, and we're going to delve deeper in what youths should be doing, especially when it comes to the budget, the policies that are happening in our country. Karibu sana.
Thank you.
Yeah, so hapo awali we've talked about education. Now we come back to the other part of your life. Uko kwa Senate Oversight Committee. First of all, tuambie, what is Senate Oversight Committee and what do you guys do?
Okay, thank you. I think we all know who the senator is, I believe. Senator Mohamed Faki, the senator from Mombasa County. We also, I would assume, know what senators do in the upper house, as they call it, the Senate Assembly. We also know by, prescriptions from the Constitution, the role of senators, Article 93, what the senators are supposed to do, running through Article 96, just to know the role of senators, why the establishment was there, and just to ensure resources are utilized properly within the 47 counties. As a member of the Senate Oversight Committee, most people don't know why this committee was established, why senators felt the need of having. There is currently a bill in motion for entrenchment into the Constitution, the oversight funding. I think the National Assembly members will be ventilating on it tomorrow by voting now, because they had already, defended it. They had already talked about the NGAF. They've already talked about the NGCDF. And now, I think tomorrow on Tuesday, the National Assembly members will be voting for these funds to be entrenched so that they are legal into the Constitution, which is a very historic moment for us. I think anything we do should be provided for a framework within which they are put into function, and for us to also oversight properly. As a member of the Senate Oversight Committee, like I said, it's also a new baby in the space. It came back from 2021. A bill was proposed. The senators pushed up to around 2023. They saw some light. It wasn't adopted yet, but on a pilot basis, they got a green light to start in the late 2023. but officially it started in 2024. But again, unfortunately, it suffered a premature death because we had nominated senators who also felt the need of being part of this oversight funding. The bill actually categorized all the senators, but the bill failed to specify that by senators it meant the elected senators and not the nominated senators. But we know in the structure of the Senate Assembly, they have 60 members, 47 are elected, others are nominated, and other members who probably are ex officio, but at the end of the day in the House, there is that number of membership that needed some kind of clarification. So the nominated senators pushed, and it had to be suspended for a while. They won, they won, and now they are part of the oversight funding. They also get a percentage of what comes into the Senate funding. But like I said, it was on a pilot basis, and that is why there's need for it to be entrenched in the Constitution, so that we also have regulations on it, so that we know how much should be devolved for purposes of oversighting, and also it also will give an accountability structure as to, you know, getting to know how much came, how much was utilized, and how best was it utilized. So as part of our oversight journey, it wasn't an easy from the onset, but I love how people have embraced the idea of oversighting, and I love because it has demystified a lot of, you know, facts for the people of Mombasa and beyond. Many people expect certain roles to be performed by, you know, various leaders, but the Constitution has not mandated them to perform those roles. Most people would say, senator anafanya kazi gani? They don't know that the role of the senator is to ensure resources are you know, are devolved, or rather the resources are brought to the counties for utilization, and then also ensure that those resources they're championing for are well utilized. And that is it. Apart from legislation, oversight, representation is just representing issues that are controversially, you know, controversial within their jurisprudence as county senate officers, and not any other thing. So whatever it is we used to expect from them is not mandated for them to do. By having this oversight structure, like I said, early this year we did an oversight tour just to look at the projects in Mombasa. Pesa yetu imetumika kivipi, the status of these projects. Are these projects done on a need basis ama tunaletewa tu miradi? I think it is very important for the government to deliberately ensure that public participation is adhered to, so that our views are anchored in whatever decisions they are making in their boardrooms. Whatever policies they are coming up with should be in tandem with what our needs are as people. And this controversy about Gen Zs, it is not about Gen Zs, it is about the welfare of the people of Kenya at large. People just think Gen Zs are just young people who are useless or orderless, like we put it, but Gen Zs are focused, and I think it is the belief. Wajua tumesoma sana Mr. Hikimea, Damu Nyeusi, name them. We've read so many tamthilias. Those are resource, you know, books that have given us a bit of an insight of what goes into governance, how our politicians behave, and how can we make changes that will see us leading a brighter future. So it is not wrong for us as Gen Zs championing for change and trying to change the status quo. We need not to be comfortable with what is happening. We always have to dare to, you know, come up with changes, push for these changes. So as an oversight function, we did a tour. We came up with a report. Of course, we engaged the communities, the 6 sub-counties. We walked through Likoni, we went to Changamu, we went to Jomvu, we were here in Mvita, we were in Likoni, we were engaging with the communities at large and getting their views. If you look at our report, we have a section where we have feedback from the community, and that is what we need to also have from the county governments. In as much as we are having public fora, we need to have feedback. You know, we see Noni said this in Jambere ward, and then now we look at it vis-a-vis what is being brought to us as development. Is this what Noni said in Likoni? Is this what Noni said in Changamu? Is this what Hassan said or Abed said in Mjambere or whichever ward that you hail from? So we launched our report. We loved that many organizations were so interested in the report. The report is not meant to provide a kind of a witch hunt on anybody. The senator is literally just doing his job as a senator for the people of Mombasa. People are now getting to know that we have this project that is being run by the county government, and this is the status of this project. And that is what we need to see even from other counties. So I'm glad the conversation about entrenching it into the constitution is there, so that now we see from all the counties that kazi inafanyika. We often see the Senate Public Accounts Committee come here led by the Senator for Migori, Kajwang. I think it is very important that the oversight function is taken seriously, so that at the end of the day we don't cry foul when things are not happening our way. And I think this is why we even struggling with Ruto and saying must go and whatever. But it is us who are failing, because by constitution imetupa nguvu, the sovereignty, we have values, we have, you know, a lot of articles that have stated clearly, you know, our roles as a citizenry, and why we need to put our voice on these issues, and why we need to exercise our democracy with a lot of sanity. And I'm saying sanity, you know, deliberately, because we tend to, there's somebody who sang wajinga sisi and I think wajinga sisi in the sense that ni kama tunawachaga akili zetu tukienda kupiga kura. So anyways, democracy is built in a populist nature. We vote for popular people, not, you know, the right-minded or skilled people to lead us. We just vote you because you are popular, and that is very worrying, because we need to have leaders who are role models. We need to have leaders ambaye ukimuona unatamani sana ukwe kama yeye. Do you really think the generation ya saizi wanaweza kutaka ku-emulate any of our leaders?
That is a question.
I'm looking at how I grew up, and when we used to have hawa wajumbe ama MPs wakija katika the AGMs, the AGMs were very colorful. You know, our parents wanakuja, watu wanapewa zawadi, mtoto anaona the value of education, mtoto anaona the MP akiongea background yake, amesoma wapi, amefika wapi, was alumnus of University of Nairobi, and now he's an MP and he's doing exemplarily well as a leader. Something to admire. But really, in the recent past or even currently, I don't really think we have leaders worth emulating. I'm not saying those who are there are that bad, but maybe it's up to them now to try and also portray a good example. It is unnecessary for you to engage in public, you know, kind of verbal exchanges, and what you use out there is very negative, in the sense that watoto wanasikiza, watoto wanakuwa na bad example of who you are as a leader. So mimi nasema tu kwa our leaders, it is very important that you take cognizance of this fact. You're not leading yourself, you are leading us, and we need to see that example in you, because we took our time, we campaigned for you, we voted for you, we waited for the results, we celebrated together because we had a belief we'd see some change. There are leaders, I won't mention, there are leaders in Mombasa, to be specific, who are doing so well. We know politics come in, watu watasema sijui hafanyi, but what is your idea of kufanya that you are saying hafanyi? Because I think we don't have an idea of kufanya that we keep saying hafanyi. We know our expectations of what Noni should look like. She's put on a pink dress and you wanted her to match the color of the couch here. And now that becomes a problem for you because she's decided to put on a pink dress and not a blue or not. So that is a problem for us. At the end of the day, what is the essence of having a dress? Is covering your body. So it's very disheartening sometimes, but I know kuna viongozi who are not doing practically their job totally. Kuna wale wenye hata National Assembly they don't talk, but they don't even care. So wewe ulipigiwa kura and you're not talking to issues that are affecting your people, it is worrying.
There is something that you said earlier on, the fact that we also do not understand the work that they are supposed to do for us. For example, when we talk about senators, we ask questions of wanafanya nini, but we have not even gone back to the constitution and read what their responsibilities are. So that is a task for every youth who's watching us. Enda kwa constitution. So every leader from the MCA to the MP, senator na governor, what is their responsibilities?
Online. Hata ukigoogle tu role of the senator. Inakuletea tu hapo hata kama sio deep, but it gives you an insight,
it gives an idea. And something else somebody wise told me is when choosing a leader, you choose them like the way you choose a life partner. If you can answer this question without feeling sad or scared, if somebody compliments you and tells you that you are so much alike to your partner, to your significant other, if you are angry about that, that person is not really meant for you.
I got married the other day, by the way, so I'm happily married. It's a tough decision. I know young people are scared of getting married because expenses, responsibilities, but it gives you some kind of discipline to explore life. It tames you from doing things that you are not supposed to do as a normal human being. It gives you some kind of direction in life. So basically, people, maybe in another segment I'll come talk about marriage.
He's about to advise us on marriage.
I used to talk about marriage even before getting married. If you look at my Instagram profile back in 2018, I was doing a section on marriage drifts and zile challenges za marriage. And at that time many people thought I was married because I used to put on a ring hapa. So watu walikuwa nadhani nilikuwa nimeoa, but no, I wasn't married. I was just reacting to what I'm seeing kwa community. Marriages zenye zina work, zenye hazi work ni kwa sababu gani hazi work. So we used to have those segments, and I think we need to also have, I normally say we have in Citizen TV tuko na Bim Safari, but I also think Citizen should evolve from Bim Safari to also come and give us the real modern touch of what modern marriages look like. What Bim Safari is saying is good, but some of them are only for watu wa kitambo. Unaelewa? Wewe saizi nimekuja kwa nyumba, mume wangu naomba nikuvulie viatu, naomba nikupe maji ya kunywa. So the modern wives cannot do that. They feel that is ukoloni kind of. So I think we also need to come up with a segment for us young people to talk about not even marriage alone, even my relationships zenye tuko nazo. Because tunaona young people are committing suicide because of relationships. Tunaona watu was battling depression. By the way, this thing about depression, people don't know what it is until it gets you. I think this is a conversation people should have proactively. Sio ku sympathize or but put ourselves in that shoe and feel how it pinches.
hold on to that. I think we should invite you and your wife, and have a whole conversation on marriage.
Wow.
Because I feel listening to you alone, we also need the missus to tell us her perspective.
I will have to prepare her psychologically.
But that would be a very interesting conversation. Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
And we hope that you get to inspire more youths. Kuna vijana who do not want to commit and get married. He is one who has taken that
3
leap.
months and counting.
Oh, 3 months.
Yeah.
I
was actually supported sana with our able women representative, so probably she gets to hear this voice. Thank you so much, Mama, for your support. She got hold of my hand. She just mentioned it in public. Huyu Hassan anafaa kuoa. So it was kind of a joke. I was emceeing at a local event huko Chaani. So she was our guest there. Now we had a bit of a cake pale. So when she was lishaing me the cake, she made mention of huyu kijana anafaa kuoa. So it also hit me hard, like, yes, Mom, you are right. I didn't tell her, but Mom, you are right. Nataka kuoa. It was already in the pipeline. I had not even met her, the one I'm married to. Yes,
wow.
And it's just a couple of months ago. But after that, I think now, I deliberately started pursuing, this idea of marriage. I was prepared psychologically, I would say. So what is important is psychological preparedness. Mambo ya stability itakuja tu.
Repeat that, afadhali.
Mambo ya stability itakuja tu.
That is a very interesting conversation. As you were saying, if you answer this question without feeling angry, when somebody tells you that you are so much alike with your significant other, if you're not scared about that, then you are in the right place. When it comes to our leaders, I think that is the same perspective we should be using. Definitely. If you are told that you are so much alike, like your MP or your MCA, if you do not feel like you're offended, then you are choosing the right one. Exactly. So moving on swiftly, last year, Gen Z tulifunga barabara zote in the whole country, and we went for demonstrations, and we were rejecting the finance bill, and having a conversation with several youths from Mombasa. I travel all over to Nairobi, to Kisii. The question that I was asking was, have you read the finance bill? Have you read it? They're like, no, we've seen it online. Like, we've seen what people are saying about it. We've seen people who have read it, what they're saying about it. So as an educationist now, I think that is a pandemic we have in the country of people not actually reading, but receiving information from hearsays. Exactly. What would you say about that?
We are very proficient, in the way you put it. Tunapenda umbea. We feed on umbea sana, and it denies us the opportunity to have a real-time experience with issues. I'm comfortable hating you because somebody hates you. So I'm not hating you because I have an issue with you, but because the guy hates you. So I'm hating you because somebody hates you. I saw that statement from the Speaker of Kilifi County Assembly, former MP for Ganze, Teddy Mwambire. I saw his post jana, and I read whatever he posted, and I was touched. But most of the things he was saying are making a lot of sense, because that is how we are today. There are people who hate Ruto because there are leaders who hate Ruto for them. So then they don't hate Ruto because they just feel like he's not the right person. Did I just say Ruto? It is His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya. I'm sorry. There are people who hate the president because other people are hating him, which is wrong. I normally say leaders are not hated, and leaders should know that people don't hate you, leaders. People just disagree with what you are doing. They don't really hate you. Hate is a different kind of a thing. People need to understand the difference between hating and disliking, just not agreeing with you to a certain level. So I believe, Mr. President, people don't hate you. People just don't probably like certain things that are happening within the country, and they also just want to see some change. They also are struggling in life. They also are just crying. They also are just feeling the heat, the pinch, They just want to see some change. They are tired, Mr. President. I wish I was crying. I'm not. So basically, that is it. I think we need to see some change.
Yeah.
It is coming anyways. The way Eric Omondi puts it, it is coming. We are getting informed currently. We need to struggle to have a real touch with issues, not just wait to see maandamano in Kisumu, so we tunaandamana kwa sababu ya watu wa Kisumu wanaandamana. And I won't say the 25th commemoration was wrong, but like I said, there are people who get infiltrated, people who don't have real touch with these issues.
Yeah.
There's a comedian who put out a video of a dialogue between him and a police officer, asking him, umebeba mawe kwa nini, unafanyia hiyo mawe nini, na unaenda wapi? Mimi niko demonstration. Akamuuliza na demonstratea nini? Si Albert. Albert ni nani? Simjui, lakini nilisikia huko kwa maandamano kwa sababu si watu wamekuja maandamano. So those kind of things. So these are the people. What he was depicting is very necessary for people to grasp. People are out there protesting, but they don't know why they are protesting. I did an article on Standard Media it was last year, last week, after Albert passed on. I put out a story about Albert, and I wanted people to understand that they don't know Albert as some of us knew him because we schooled with him. Juzi, I was having a conversation with somebody at home, and I also just stated, like, I think even the father didn't know Albert like the way we knew him as comrades. We schooled with him. Some of us knew him, we believe, more than even how the father knew him, because I've listened to the interviews the father was having. He's a father, he's a parent. I know he's touched, but I think there's a part of Albert's life that he was not, in touch with. I can't blame him, because that is how we are siku hizi. Life imetuweka in a point where there are certain things we struggle with alone that our parents may not even know. My mom doesn't even know I'm here on studio with you today. So those are things that are happening that we keep them to ourselves, which is also a good thing. But we need to change. We need to interact. Kama ni finance bill, tujue tuna interact na finance bill na tunaielewa kivipi. It is good. The current CS for Treasury tried. He came at Swahili Port to have a conversation with the young people. I hope what we said there was taken into consideration, but I loved, sometimes let us also appreciate the initiative alone.
Yeah.
The fact that he came down to Mombasa to have a conversation with young people, it's a new thing that we can have other leaders embracing. It is a very important thing, coming to hear the people. And I think the level of public participation should also be evolved in some nature. I don't like how the national government does public participation. Normally it's on a short notice. Normally they post on their website. How many of us even go through their website? They need to utilize the media. Normally, I used to say, people look at these big media stations, but they don't reach as many audiences as possible. The local media that tunadharau zina reach watu because we have those clips. We share the links on our groups. We post on our statuses. It reaches so many people. By many people, I mean not only the elites. Watu wenye wa huku chini ni wengi sana. We are country yetu is still developing. We don't have so many elites. So how are we getting rich to our watu? How do you expect them to come to public participation without information? Tumeunga mkono CDF, tumeunga mkono, but you see wanaunga because they want bursaries. CDF is not just about bursary. 2.5% only goes into bursary. The entire fund CDF annually. Just 2.5%. There's also 3% that goes into mambo ya emergency and environmental issues. There's percentages that go into other things, development, etc. People need to know those things so that we just don't glorify bursaries
aliita watu wakapiga line
bursaries zinapeanwa left, right and center.
Yeah.
How even accounting for those bursaries?
Very sad.
So when other people are trying other means to reach out to, you know, vulnerable persons, to marginalized groups, they are also looked at as though wanafanya masifa. It's not masifa. They are trying to reach. If somebody looks at young women who dropped out of school and gave them a second chance to pursue education, how is that masifa? Who is doing that for them?
I know. Who's doing that for them? There's a question that I want to ask you, a question that might sound very controversial.
Sure.
The state of the youths of the country. There is a lot of anger. There's a lot of, I would call it pain. Now my question is, do you think that pain is because of what is happening or because they are misinformed about what is happening?
No, youths for this day are informed because there's so much on social media. After this show, probably I would probably put it on my status. My peers will look into it and know what is happening.
Yeah.
So young people know what is happening. It is not misinformation as they want to call it. I know that is how they want to they want to call it. We are misinformed, we have no direction, we don't know what we want, but we know what we want, and that is why we are angered, because we are not getting what we want. We will not be having, you know, oozing so much anger if we didn't know what we wanted. You know, you cannot be heartbroken if you've never loved somebody.
True.
Amen. So I think youths, the young people know what they want. They know what is happening. They you know, they know the contemporary issues. They know the pain. They feel the pain. They are in the pain. They are living in the pain. They have been bred within the surroundings where pain is the order of the day. Some miss meals, some don't go to school, some don't put on shoes, some don't even get 10 shillings to buy pencil or rubber, some get sent home not having paid for 100 bob for tuition fees or whatever. So they've felt the pain, they have lived through the pain, they're still living in the pain, and that is worrying. That is something any government should be worried about. The government should not dismiss the young people. The government should mentor the young people into understanding, yes, you are crying for this, but this is a better way of approaching issues, but not being dismissive, not throwing, you know, saying we don't understand what we want, that we have been mobilized by somebody. I mean, we are very educated, by the way.
Sure.
I mean, we are enlightened, let me say, for lack of a better word. We know what is happening. Nobody can just mobilize me and say go to the streets. Not me, maybe some other people, and that is why we are doing what we are doing. I think that is why we are even having Life in Focus, to put out this information out there, for people to know that it is important for them to know that there is something that is happening. They need to know Life in Focus and what they are doing, and that is a very important thing, because here you'll meet young people, not directly, but you know, you'll have a real-time, not a real-time experience, but an experience even on your screen with a young person who is talking about the issues that you are unable to talk about. True.
That is very, very true. Now we are coming to the end of our interview. It has been a very beautiful hour. I've had so much information. I've learned a lot.
Same here.
So talk to the youths now. Give them a parting shot. What would you want them to remember you with?
Wow, that's a very great opportunity. I don't want to be remembered for any kind of pretense or any kind of falsehood, or you know, presenting myself as though I am some good person or a great person. But I just want to be remembered by being my real self, and trying to inspire people by my real self, and just to leave you with the fact that you are capable of championing for the change that you so much desire, and you need not to fear anything. Like you know, we know the times are tough, but at the end of the day, we can try. We are trying, and we'll keep trying, and we will die trying. So never be scared, in as much as right now we feel like our freedom for expression is jeopardized, but don't relent. Just have meaningful conversations. Be very be very polite, in as much as you want to put out information to the leaders. Just be very polite. Just make your message reach home without having to kuweka matusi or whatever. Let us show the different side of us, the young people. Let us not be let them not have an obvious point of view that the youth will behave this way when we do these. Let us show them a different character, and that is what is important. We need to show a different kind of persons that we are. We don't have to be reactive all the time. We need to be calm sometimes. We need to be more proactive in our approaches, and we will see the good that will come with it. Thank you so much for having me. It's been a great session. I've loved the session. I've learned so much as well, and I appreciate.
Thank you so much. That was Hassan Mbangwe Adhumani, a policy champion, a governance and ethics leader, and an educationist, co-founder of EduQuest Consultancy. Make sure you follow him on all his social media platforms, right? You are Hassan Mbangwe Adhumani.
Yeah, you can also follow EduQuest, EduQuest Consultancy on all social media. You can also check out our website, www.eduquestconsultancy.co.ke. You will see what we want to do, what we anticipate to give as services to the people of Mombasa and beyond. And you are most welcome to our soft launch event that will be held next month on 26th July at Swahili Port Hub. Other than that, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Hassan. We had a beautiful day. I remember this is Life in Focus. Today we were focusing on matters education, on matters policies, and on matters youths. Remember, this is where we bring you stories that will inspire you, stories that will make you want to be better. And remember, we are on all social media platforms. After this, we're going to be posting updates on when the interview of Mr. Hassan will be on our YouTube channel, so make sure you do follow us everywhere, from TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. We'll give you an update on when it will be posted on our YouTube channel. Speaking of the YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe, like, share, comment, go through our stories. We have so many stories there. Go through them, and I am sure you will get one that will touch you, that will inspire you, and that will make you a better person. My name is Miss Nani. Until next time, see you.